What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, Taurean Prince ran with the starting unit in place of Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt was out with a heel injury, and so we got D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, the main four guys, and then the fifth guy was Taurean Prince. And now, as far as that fifth guy, it's kind of becoming this thing where it's very likely going to vary depending on matchups. It kind of seems what Darvin Ham's thinking and process is. Now, there's very likely going to be that consensus fifth guy, and Taurean Prince is in that conversation. We've gotten plenty of reports. I've talked all offseason about him potentially moving into that fifth spot, that I think he makes a lot of sense, especially if Jared Vanderbilt's shot isn't that much improved. Now, personally, my ideal starting five is the starting five that led us to the Western Conference Finals, was with Jared Vanderbilt, right? And we had, D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, Vando, Anthony Davis. That starting five, I think, is the best because I think you have enough offensive firepower between Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I know the Lakers got off to some slow starts last season. I think a lot of that was also just chemistry and injuries. Right, the Lakers were off to the races in yesterday's game against Brooklyn. I mean, the starters ended up building a 19-point lead. Like, the Lakers will be fine in that regard. And I like the idea of Jared Vanderbilt as that defensive anchor who can guard the best player on the other team and do it to an elite level. But if Jared Vanderbilt's offense of just three-point shooting isn't there, or it's just slightly improved, then Taurean Prince does make a world of sense. Taurean Prince is going to give you 38 to 40% three-point shooting. He can also defend basically 1 through 4. He's very valuable. He's not the elite level defensive guy that Jared Vanderbilt is, but he is a very good defensive player that has really built the reputation in the league as a legitimate 3-and-D guy. And again, Taurean Prince started with the Lakers and was fantastic. In 20 minutes, he had 13 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. He was 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. And he showed that he was a lot more than just a 3-and-D style guy. We saw him and his ability to take the defender off the dribble and get to the basket. Him not settling for threes, give the little pump fake, drive, take it to the hoop, lay it in. Those were, I thought, very valuable to see from a guy like Taurean Prince. He's a veteran guy. He's a guy that's not afraid of the moment, that's had big shots. He's been very foul happy the last few games. I don't really knock him for that OKC game, the Warriors game. That Warriors game was officiated just terribly, like awful. But this game was a little more okay, and Prince just was getting called for all the little tic-tac stuff. And so I wonder how much of it is just like refs in preseason form, because we've seen just terrible refereeing, not just with the Laker games, but like across the league right now. Because you get those, experiment refs and refs that are like, they're getting their feet wet and stuff, just like the players are. So I'm hoping that doesn't become a trend and he's averaging 5 fouls a game, because that wouldn't be great. But I did like what I saw from Taurean Prince in that starting lineup. He promised that he would average 40% from 3 this year, which isn't something crazy. This isn't a guy that, is 33% trying to get up to 40%. No, this is a guy that's 38% who has had seasons where he's around 40%, trying to get to 40%. So I really like the idea of Taurean Prince in the starting lineup. Again, if Jared Vanderbilt's three-point shot isn't falling the way we need it to. Now, the main 4 guys of D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, and AD, I don't see that ever changing as long as everyone's healthy, right? Obviously, if AD is going to miss some games, like everybody's going to miss some games, whether it's just nights off or little injury or whatever, right? So those 4 will be the same. And I like it. I love what we've seen, though it's been 1 game. Still, it was very impressive. Right, it would have been concerning if it was a little rocky. And it's like, no, it's D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis have looked like they by themselves would be enough to lead this team to the playoffs. I mean, D'Lo has been just unconscious since he's started this preseason, and Anthony Davis looks like bubble AD all over again. The dude's knocking down threes. The guy's just being aggressive and physical, basically just being unstoppable again. Like, I really love what I'm seeing from these two. And then you add in the fact that, yeah, we have LeBron James, who is still a top 10 guy and one of, if not the greatest players ever. Oh, yeah, and Austin Reeves has just been super efficient, lights out since last season. And his first game back gave you 18 points on 5 of 7 from the field and 4 of 6 from 3. Oh, yeah, we have that guy too, right? It's like, stop. Like, the starters have looked, again, I understand it's one game, but you saw the chemistry. You saw that, like, D'Angelo Russell looks more confident, more comfortable out there. AD does. LeBron, like, everyone's healthy. You got to remember, D'Lo, LeBron, and Anthony Davis were all dealing with a foot injury. It was different kinds of foot injuries, but they were all dealing with one. You know, and Austin Reeves just got that emergence. You know, there was those games where he looked, hey, I have the green light, I'm going to take it. You know, he even had the little back and forth 3-point shooting. But that fifth guy, I do think, changes, right? I could see some nights maybe it's Christian Wood or Jackson Hayes, right? If you're going with like a bigger lineup, right? Say you're playing the Timberwolves. Maybe you go with Jackson Hayes alongside Anthony Davis. Or maybe you go with Christian Wood alongside Anthony Davis. I mean, you could even go with Rui. We saw Rui give Karl Anthony Towns all kinds of trouble, right? So maybe you do, if you play Minnesota, maybe you go with Rui in the starting lineup. If you're playing the Warriors, maybe you do go with like Gabe Vincent or something like that, right? So that way, yeah, it's a little smaller, but it's like, okay, well, you could have Gabe Vincent defend a Steph Curry, put D'Lo on like a Chris Paul, and then Reeves on like Austin Reeves or something, right? Like, chase them around. Again, I'm not saying that that's what they have to do, but I'm just saying that, like, the versatility and the depth of this team, I think, is what makes that interchangeable. Or even Max Christie, right? You could even go with Max Christie. Max Christie's looked good. I know he was a little rough last game, but still, I thought he has shown enough and enough consistency this season with Summer League and preseason and training camp to believe that he's going to be okay. He's going to have his good games, he's going to have his bad games. He's a 20-year-old kid, right? But you could even put him in spots. But I think the consensus starting unit, more likely than not, will either be Jared Vanderbilt or it'll be a Taurean Prince, right? And I could even see, let's say Jared Vanderbilt starts, I could see them close with Taurean Prince, right? Because, again, he's a guy that is not afraid of the moment, can hit the big shot, can defend the best player on the other team, can do several things beyond just being a 3-and-D guy. He's a guy that's been there, done that. He has familiarity with LeBron. Like, all of those things I think are important, right? And you kind of have that stabilizer in the lineup. A guy that he's going to play hard and he's going to do the dirty work no matter what. Whether he's getting 10 shot attempts or he's getting 1, right? And his ability to knock down, but also him always being a threat. Because unless Jared Vanderbilt improves his 3-point shooting tremendously, which, in his defense, he's worked on it all offseason like a madman, and the one game we saw him in, he was 2 of 3 from 3. And he missed his first one. And it didn't get him down, nothing. And he looked like the shot looked better. He looked more confident in his shot, right? It was a little smoother. Like, I was like, okay, all right, here we go. Like, this is what we need to see. So if that can improve, then I definitely like the idea of Jared Vanderbilt. I don't like the idea of Rui. I know some people really want Rui in the lineup, but we've even seen so far in the preseason, when he's in with like LeBron and D'Lo and stuff like that, he just kind of becomes a spot-up 3-point shooter. That's not his game. But we've seen when he's on the court without those guys, he goes and gives you 19 points because he gets to be an integral part of the offense, right? He gets to show his array of different offensive versatility. You see him just get the ball on the high post. You see him be able to kind of create off the dribble. You see him be able to knock down threes or just drive past the defensive player to get to the basket or pull up and knock down a mid-range. Like, all of those things I really like seeing from Rui. But when he's with the starters, he's just going to kind of be a 3-and-D style guy. And he's not that. That's not his game, right? But Taurean Prince and Jared Vanderbilt, that is their game. So have them in the starting unit for that purpose. Rui can get plenty of play and plenty of run. But if Jared Vanderbilt isn't around at least league average, I don't mind if you start him. Like, let's say because he was 30% last year. Let's say he's 33 to 34% this year, right? That would be improved. That would be good for his standards, but that's still below league average, which league average is like around 35%, right? So I wouldn't mind if they started him at that, but then close with Taurean Prince because he gives you that legitimate 3-and-D style basketball. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel about Taurean Prince? Do you like his game? Do you like what we see? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below.